Do you feel the pressure to grow your business, but doing so feels a bit like drowning? Welcome to Slow Growth Business, the show for business owners and leaders to quiet the noise and lead your business to success, one day at a time, slow and steady. If you feel your business is running you and you're ready to run it, you've come to the right place. Now, here are your hosts, business coaches Jimmy DeGroot and me, Kyle Bullock.
Welcome, everybody. It's Jimmy DeGroot and Kyle, and we are going to talk about today a problem that the whole country has. That
the whole country.
Has.
Holy moly. Whole country. Wow.
No. But would you agree 90+% jewelers have this problem?
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Yeah,
right.
probably.
The problem we're talking about today, and phone the 800 number if you need help. It's on your screen. The problem we're talking about today is over-inventoried. And the reason we're talking about it is because it seems as though people don't feel that it's a problem. They think it's an asset. And we see it as a huge problem. And so I want to talk today about all of the reasons it's a very bad thing, being over-inventoried.
All the reasons.
It's all of them. So
I'm
going to leave. Kyle, go ahead. All right. I'll see you in an hour. No?
That would be a very boring podcast for these very lovely people who are listening. Oh my gosh.
I mean, where to start? Let's start with this.
I'll tell you this. I'll give you a perspective to start with. Just to jump in here. I was sitting here thinking about this leading into it before you hit record. And I thought one of the gifts I was given many, many moons ago was that I don't see myself as a jeweler. I see myself as a retailer.
Yeah.
Now, I am a bench jeweler. I can size and solder. I can set. I can do all those things. And I do know gemology. I have my credentials. I've done appraisals. I do all the things. And the thing I sell is jewelry. But if you were to ask me what I do, I would probably identify myself as a retailer first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really important distinction. It's a perspective that I have, because if I wasn't selling jewelry, what I know about retail, what I was taught about retail, I could apply it to t-shirts, coffee, tickets to an attraction. And I've done that in other industries, other companies, because it's an understanding of how retail works. And so with that perspective, I don't get tied up on jewelry. I don't get tied up on the emotion. I have what some people would call exacting standards when it comes to the inventory. And people might hear this and go, yeah, we go to trade shows all the time. And guys like you, they always talk about how you need to fix your inventory. You got to fix your inventory. And they always harp on me on fixing the inventory. And it's because you're not a jeweler first, you're a retailer. And as a retailer, it's how you get great at what you do. It's how you get great at it.
Period.
Just because you're good at setting diamonds, just because you know a lot about gemology, just because you have a GG, that makes you good at maybe doing appraisals or setting diamonds or fixing rings. That does not mean that you're great at running a store. It's different. It's a different skill set.
Gotta pause you. I have to totally agree with you, because I remember being on a consult with a group. You have the groups. I can't remember what the name of our group was, but we were at a store, and there was a wonderful consultant there with us, and he said, "You are running a museum, okay? You are a museum curator. You are not a retailer." And that was a wake-up call for me back in the late 90s, actually. Came back and looked at our inventory, and we're like, you're right. This stuff is old. It's not moving. We had a great conversation recently with a gal. Maybe you should all do this. A gal that used to run inventory for a grocery store. Now she's running it for a jewelry store. And I'm thinking, great. Wow, we need to be thinking like that.
Yes, she was great.
Think about that
and
for a
I
second.
love that because she was so intuitively good at inventorying for a jewelry store, because in the food industry, when you're doing procurement or you're buying the food that gets made and sold, and it goes on a grocery store and it gets sold off the grocery store, there's this added challenge that honestly we have, but there's a literal expiration date on everything. So if that meat's been out there for however many days, you can't sell it. It is now completely worthless, and you literally throw it away because it
Right.
has no more value. And
Yep.
if you over purchase and you're throwing meat away all the time, you're going to get fired because it means you bought too much. You're spending money you don't need to spend.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it just sits out there, you could say, well, canned goods could last forever. Why would I throw away a perfectly good can of creamed corn when it's just been sitting there? Why not just move it to the front and maybe someone will buy it?
Yeah.
Because people don't want old creamed corn. Just
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sentence is gross. We get grossed out by that. And
Yep. But
in
amethyst
jewelry,
doesn't get old, right?
right? We say that because it's not literally deteriorating in front of our eyes,
Right.
but
Right.
it
Right.
already is deteriorated your cash. It's deteriorated the interest. It makes your cases look old and ugly. You can spot old jewelry a mile away, and so can your customers.
Yeah.
But
All
retail
right. So
first.
let's talk about that a second. Okay. So it's gold, it's precious metal, it's silver, whatever. And it's in our cases, and it never gets old. I'm going to keep it out in my case because someday there might be that customer that comes along and wants it and wants that very one. That's the perfect one, and I'll have it for them, and I won't miss the opportunity. And so, why is that? Why is that bad?
If I bought a lottery ticket today and I had 5 random numbers that I came up with, and I didn't win this week in the lottery, I could keep that lottery ticket and say, well, one day, if I keep this lottery ticket long enough, one day the numbers will match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how the lottery works?
No, I was going to say,
Of course not.
no,
Of course not.
but I can wish and dream.
I can wish and dream and hold my little ticket and go, hey, I hope I win one day. Maybe something will sell. Maybe is not a strategy. Hope is not
Mm-hmm.
false hope is not a strategy here.
Yeah,
You will always be beat by someone in retail who is taking that piece, they're remaking it, they're balancing it, they're scrapping it, they're doing something fresh with it all the time. You will
yeah.
always be beat by that guy.
Well,
And
and I think we can look to the automotive industry too for some hints on that too, because you know a Toyota Camry, for example, that is a hideous color that just doesn't have what people want on it. I shouldn't say that because Toyota Camry, I think, is one of the best-selling cars in the world. But
it was like lemon yellow, a lemon yellow Camry.
You're right. It's new, but people have constantly walked past it and voted no on it, on something else. And that car, of course, based upon its model year is going to get old. It's not going to get tomato and apple old and carrot old and meat old like in a grocery store. But I think car dealers realize that as well, that no, it's losing value the more it sits here.
Yeah.
And gosh darn it, our jewelry does that too. Why after you talk a lot about 365 days. Okay. You even started 6 months with your discipline. And it's why after 365 days has that lost value?
Okay, so let's just get into I'm going to try to blaze through the boring numbers right quick, but
All right.
this is Retail 101.
All right. I'm going to text somebody while you're doing this. And
thanks
who I'm
for
texting,
listening.
so
Yeah, geez, thanks.
I'm listening.
He's toned out. Everyone listening who is still listening, don't be texting and driving. But,
I know.
okay, let's
this
just
is
talk
a customer.
Let's talk about if you give me $1,000, okay, to invest
Yep.
your money, You gave me $1,000 of your money, your hard-earned money. You said, please go invest this for you. And after 6 months, or let's say a year, after 1 year, you came back to me and you said, how much money have you made me? I will say you made $0.00. You made no money. And you go, well, I thought you were investing it. And I said, well, I did. I'm holding it, and one day it will sell.
Oh, this is
Well,
biblical. We know
is
it's
it worth
biblical, by the way.
anything? Yeah. Sound like a parable? No, it's not worth anything until I sell it. But right now it's worth $0. And one day it might be worth something.
Yeah.
Okay. And that one day could be 3 years, 5 years, even sometimes 10 years from now. And when I finally sell it 10 years or 5 years later, you go, fantastic. How much money did I make? And they say, well, I made your 1,000 turn into $2,000. You go, wow. Ooh. In the meantime, let's just talk math.
Okay.
If you'd given me that money today and I had invested it into an index fund, stock market, just to beat inflation, it would outperform your dead jewelry. It would outperform it. Inflation rises every year on an average of about 3%. And so if you're not getting at least that out of your showcase, if gold is not appreciating that much, which in the last year, it has appreciated obviously a lot more, but most years it is not. In fact, if you've been reordering any jewelry at all, back when gold was $5,000 an ounce just a few weeks ago, now it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Now it is depreciated in value. So unless gold is rising and natural diamonds and lab diamonds are rising in price and lab diamonds are not, it means that the things that you bought a long time ago that are still on your shelf are still sitting there doing nothing. And the stock market would beat you if you just were a conservative investment player in the stock market. Now
Sure.
that's a boring answer. Let me try to re-explain it in this way. And then you can take off on this, Jimmy. Let's look at big box stores, Costco, Target, Sam's
Hmm.
Club,
Right.
even direct competitors for jewelers, Signet with K's, Helzberg's, Jared's. Okay, jewelry should in those stores they expect a 1 to 2 time turn in their inventory for jewelry every year. It's an expectation. If you're going into clothing and apparel, it's somewhere between maybe 4 time, 5 time,
Right.
or higher,
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
10 time turn on inventory, which is really high. For jewelry, it's about a 1 to 2 time turn. If you're not achieving that as a store in one of those franchises, then you're going to get a talking to, a very stern talking to, because you're not producing for the company. Okay. They don't have alloys that are just lingering out doing nothing.
Hmm.
They don't have a whole bunch of alloys in their store that they've had for years that they go, well, I sell off of it all the time. It does. No, they know exactly which ones sell and they track them and they measure them and they refresh them all the time. They don't have a bunch of memo that's lying around for years on end. They don't do that. Now I'm going to, if those stores, big box retailers, okay, who have millions and millions of dollars, research and development, high tech program, and mathematic geniuses, quite literally, at the helm of their inventory work. Why are they not doing it, but independent jewelers are? If they're not doing it,
Right.
why are you doing it? And if you go, well, it's because I have some amazing hidden strategy that I'm doing so much better than them. My rebuttal to that would be, let's think about your competitor for a second. Your competitor
Hmm.
has more money, more talent, more resources, more experience than you do. Do you think that the answer is, I somehow have stumbled upon a secret that they haven't?
Well, and not only that, but they've got a lot more risk because their cost per hour of operation is multiple times yours.
Multiple times. And they're doing laps around you. And I think independent jewelers, we have a habit sometimes of thinking that the big box stores don't matter to us. We don't keep our eye on them all that much because we think that we just outservice them.
Hmm.
And my friends, we don't. Every day, Jimmy and I see jewelry stores all over the country who are in a city that has a K's, a Jared's, a Helzberg's, whatever,
Yep.
and that
Yeah.
independent jeweler is doing a lot less volume than the big box store. The big box store is beating them.
Right.
We see it every day. If you have a Zales or a Jared's, or excuse me, if you have a K's or a Zales in your neighborhood, they're doing at least $2.5 million. If you're not, then let's ask the question, why are you not? And
Yeah.
why are you doing things that they're not doing? Use their strategies for your benefit.
Well, and I think we could. There's so many roads, and you said, Jimmy, take it from there. But there's so many roads we could go down. The first thing that we're going to say is, if those big box stores are doing great volume or better volume than us, their staff is definitely not as trained like ours. Okay. Our
Nope.
staff goes through the GIA training. We got diamatologists on staff, etc. And I'm going to come back to this. Even if you don't have that, your store will perform much better in sales if you get your inventory balance correct. Right? And here's the black and white. I've got a tray full of fast sellers in front of me. I don't have to be at that store 2 days. Okay, my first 2 days in sales, I got a tray full of fast sellers in front of me and they're all winners. Pretty easy to sell, right? Covers a lot of sins. It covers a lot of mistakes. On the other hand, if I've got a mishmash of a sea, okay, and this is what our citizen watch rep used to do to us, give us a sea of watches so that it's impossible to even shop it because the customer can't tell anything. It's difficult to shop. The fast sellers aren't showing, and they're going to see those oldie moldy goldy, not even goldy pieces that have been there forever, that people have voted no on dozens of times before, and maybe a dozen years before. Big rabbit hole here, but I'm just saying, man, you clean up your cases, you get good fast sellers in there, it sells better, it's easier to sell. You don't need, the big box stores down the road are doing it with somebody that's in their store that's not trained as well as yours. There's something there. How much better would your store perform? And okay, here's another little rabbit hole. We were introduced to the idea of flyers long time ago.
Oh.
We hated the idea of flyers. Okay, we hated that idea because we didn't like the quality of the goods in those pieces. We knew we were going to have stones falling out, a lot of it 10 karat, a lot of it lightweight mountings and things like that. We were finally convinced to do a flyer of pieces that we were relatively proud of to have in the store. And a great customer of ours that could afford anything in our store and probably buy the store with a check, she came in and she said, "I'm so glad you have this because now I don't have to go to K's anymore to get it. I can buy it from my jeweler." And that was a light bulb moment for me. Okay. And that says, okay, you've established relationships with your clients. They love you, but you know what? Gosh darn it, mom is still going over to JCPenney to buy those gold-plated earrings, because they have them. I'm not suggesting you have them. Please don't carry them. Okay, rabbit hole. I'm going down. I'm rambling, but have I said anything there with goodness?
No, you will sell much better, much faster, and your team will as well when you have better cases. And your bank account will not have problems. You will not have desperate months. You will not have months where you are feeling the belt tighten. And maybe you go, well, I don't have that now, because honestly, it's quite easy to have a jewelry store doing enough volume where enough money covers the multitude of sins going on.
Right.
It's just hiding the potential of value that's in your business.
That's huge, though. That is not, do not discount that, people, what he just said, because a lot of us get lulled into that. Lull is a good word for that.
So I'm going to let our listeners, I'm going to give you protocol. If you know how to run a Jim Roy report, right now as you're listening to this, I want you to run it. But if you don't know how to run this Jim Roy report, I'm going to let you find your metric, and I'm going to tell you what to do based upon what your number comes out with. And if you don't have a very critical system and a critical eye that's getting into the nitty-gritty of your inventory turn, you need one. It can be us, trainretail.com. Edge Retail Academy does it. I know Big does it. There's a lot of companies out there that help do that, and they'll help you be retailer first. Of course, we advocate for our services, but I'm also telling you there's other people out there doing it. Now, here's how you run a GemROI report. And I'm going to give you a protocol on what you need to do to talk to, whether it's us or someone else, about how do you go from wherever you're at to where you ought to be. A good store, jewelry store, should be a 1 to 2 time inventory turn on all your jewelry and showcases. Okay. If you run the Edge, and many of you listening to this do run the Edge, I'm just going to give you that because that's the one that that's the point of sale most people use.
Yep.
There's other ones out there, of course. If you use it, you can find a similar report. But if you use the Edge, you're going to go to your Edge, you're going to go to the Reports tab, you're going to click on Analytics on the left-hand side. Then you're going to click on Inventory Performance on that drop-down menu. And under Inventory Performance, there should be Category, CAT. Click on that. It's going to have a little box that pops up on your screen. And under the second tab of Type and Status, you're going to select all of the inventory types, all the way from inventory down to joined. And in the right column next to it, it's going to be in stock and sold items. And then you're going to run that for dates sold 365 days. Hopefully you got all that. If not, back it up, listen to it again and follow along. You're going to hit OK, and it's going to populate a report for you. And on the last page of that report, just go all the way to the very last page. And on the very far right of this report, at the very bottom, far right of this report, is your inventory turn for your entire store. Okay? Right now, I'm looking at one of our stores. It's sitting at just under a 2-time turn. That's fantastic, right, Jimmy? That's
beautiful.
That's where you want to be. If you are at a 1 to a 1.5-time turn, really probably 1 to 1.2, that's great. That's good. You can do better. And there's a 1-up, leveling up from where you're at to where you got to go. It's a different way of thinking. And when you go from a 1.10 turn to a 1.5 or better turn, you have one of the most profitable jewelry stores in the country by far. If you are under a 1.0 turn on that little number I told you to look for your entire store, under a 1-time turn, then you are sitting on that untapped potential. And your number one goal should be to de-inventory. Like Jimmy said, we got to lower your inventory, elevating your sales, and finding the rhythm of getting fast sellers that fly off the shelf.
Yep.
On this case study I'm looking at here, we often get talked about with bridal. Everyone wants to talk about bridal. And I have a video on our training platform where I say you only need about 12, maybe 20 rings in your entire bridal case. And the case study I'm looking at, they're hitting about a 2-time or better turn in a bridal. And they have one style of ring that has sold since they have introduced it 9 times in a matter of 18 months. One ring, they've sold 9 times in 18 months. That makes your inventory fly off the shelf.
Yep.
It is totally possible because I'm looking at how we've done it with someone here, and you can too. So that's your protocol. I gave you the report. You want the numbers. Go look at them. Go look at that scoreboard and know that it is possible to achieve higher numbers. And if you're under a 1, find someone who's going to be disciplined to help you get over that 1. If you're at a 1 to a 1.2, I want you to know you have untapped potential to let this thing automate itself and grow into something truly spectacular. And once you get 1.5 or higher, the big box stores are running for the hills because they can't touch you.
Yeah. And back me up on this. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Would you say, if the average store listening has at least 20 grand sitting there right now that they can send to a refiner and make more money than what they paid for it? Would you say that? Would you agree with that number?
If
20 grand?
Yeah. If the item is at least, I would say 2.5 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
then yeah, the metal content is probably what you paid for it back then. Rip the diamonds out, send it off because it's worth what you paid for. The metal, at least, is for sure.
And that's absolutely huge. That's found money that is never going to do anything again because, like I've said, people voted no for it for 2 to 3 years. They're not going to suddenly decide to start voting yes for that piece.
Right.
So, and you and I know that the $20,000 number is probably pretty conservative for
sure.
a lot of the stores listening. So you can melt it. Don't be afraid to melt, especially in these times. You can send it back to your vendor, provided you have a good relationship with that vendor and they've got good trade back terms, So you can do with it. You can try spiffing it. You could try putting it on sale. But remember, people voted no for it for years. Spiffing it, putting it on sale doesn't always work.
In fact, I can't think of a time I've seen a sales event a store has done that's ever actually reduced a sizable amount of inventory.
Right.
It just doesn't.
Right. The end result is usually this. Yeah, we covered our costs.
Yeah. What'd you sell? Well, a few old pieces, but people came in and they ended up buying fast sellers.
Oh, no kidding. That's right.
Well, we got to wrap this up. And here's my plea to everyone listening. We've given you some metrics, some hard numbers for you to go explore and look at. And there's no silver bullet to fixing it overnight.
No,
it's like eating an elephant.
It's a discipline. Yeah,
exactly. The secret is about being a retailer first. You are a retailer first. And when you have someone guiding you along in a system that is a system of finding fast sellers, reordering correctly, having the right inventory, and keeping an eye on that at all times, when you have that system over time, 6 months, 12 months, then 2 years, you will see amazing differences in your store. If you are not there yet, you can be. Of course, I've listed a whole bunch of companies that do. We are one of them, trainretail.com. You can go check us out there. That's our shameless plug. We'd love to help you grow your business for a greater purpose.
Yeah, there's gold in them there hills. And I just want to add one little caveat too. Don't feel like you need to do this. If this isn't your forte, if the details and the discipline isn't your forte, you would rather be out there kissing babies and hugging babies and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. That's who you are. The most successful stores that we work with have a person on staff who eats this stuff for lunch. And that would be, man, you are going to make that person so happy by giving them, you are the inventory commandant. You are going to just make them and they're going to make you so much money. You're going to make them happy and they're going to make you money. And I would even incentivize it. I used to do that with my person. I incentivized it to say, hey, if you can reduce this and this and this and this, there's some cash outlay in it for you. So it's just fun. It's just fun. And now you're not a museum anymore. Now you're not the curator waiting for all the stuff to come alive after the lights turn out. Ben Stiller. All right. Go forth and be amazing.
Be awesome.
Yes. Contact us. All right. See ya. Bye.
We hope you leave this episode a little better than when you first began. If you'd like more resources to grow your business slow, steady, and consistently, check out our on-demand video catalog at trainretail.com. Or if you have a question or frustration we can help address in your business, write to us about it. We love to help solve big, ugly problems. So hit us up at kyle@trainretail.com or jimmy@trainretail.com. Good luck out there, and we will see you next time.